Hello students, welcome to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University. I am Dr. Sonal Mobar Roy and we are here to look at the course Social Issues, Policies and Development. Herein, Block 5 talks about contemporary concerns related to social and human development. In Unit 15, we talk about participatory development, where in Part 1, we will focus on introduction, concept and definitions of participation. This course is part of Sociology UG second year, semester 3. So, when we are talking about participatory development, we should understand what exactly is this whole idea about participation, what is the concept of participation. So, participatory development has become a major approach in both developed and developing countries. It emphasizes the active involvement of people in development processes affecting their lives. Scholars describe the present era as the age of participation because most development programs now adopt participatory approaches. As student of sociology, you should understand why this participation by especially certain categories of the society are important. We have already talked about the marginalized sections, why certain categories are unable to enjoy the fruits of development. So, participation is a must for them. Participation promotes self-confidence, it leads to community ownership, it leads to better problem solving at a local level, and it actually helps us achieve sustainable development. So, participatory development shifts focus from top down planning to bottom up and people centered development. We are here talking about the bottom up approach. We are talking about looking at the grassroots level issues, trying to see what people go through in their day to day lives, how are they devoid of certain rights and entitlements, and can in a better sociological framework we can frame certain social policies that cater to bridging the gap between the haves and the have-nots. So, the concept of participation, when we are talking about participation, it refers to people's involvement in planning, decision making, implementation and evaluation of development programs. So, when we are talking about the bottom up approach, we are saying that we are not simply taking the idea of the center or a program is just thrown upon or put in the face. We are talking about how people can actually be integrated in whole planning process. They can decide which particular need should be prioritized, and then also how the implementation of the program takes place, and finally the evaluation of the development program. So, it is not just up top down approach, it is also about focusing on bottom up approach. It is viewed as a method of empowerment. When people are part of the process, they are integrated in the whole implementation, they feel the ownership, they take the accountability of the success or the failure, if God forbid be, but then they take the accountability of the whole process. It is a method or a tool for self-reliance, a strategy for effective project management. Participation helps communities build local capacities. It also leads to developing leadership. People feel empowered, they feel they have to voice their concern, and then there are leadership equalities also coming forth. So, it is about shared development benefits equitably. People are able to understand that they can ask for their rights and entitlements in a more forced manner, and then they can talk about unjust concerns, and then they can talk about their issues and bring forth their priorities on platform. Chambers in 1994 identified participation as a cosmetic label, a method to reduce project costs, a means of empowering people. So, this was just one perspective, and it has actually undergone change over the period of years. So, what are the definitions of participation? As students of sociology, you should understand these basic nuances. The World Bank in 1996 defined participation as a process through which stakeholders influence and share control over development initiatives and resources. According to the UNDP, participation means people's involvement in economic, social, cultural and political processes affecting their lives. As per the Oxford Dictionary, participation means to take part or to have a share in it. So, as a broad meaning, we can say participation is collective action aimed at achieving common development goals and equal distribution of benefits. So, we are talking about an integrated approach wherein nobody is left behind. People from all walks of life are part of the planning, implementation, and enjoying the benefits of development. We have to also see some key issues in participatory development. Participation is often used as a symbolic or cosmetic concept rather than genuine empowerment. This is what Chambers was talking about. So many programs remain top down with limited real decision making power given to communities. Participation is sometimes used mainly to obtain free or low cost labor for development projects. The existing inequalities based on caste, class, gender, and power can limit equal participation. Lack of awareness, education, and local capacities may restrict meaningful community involvement. These are some of the key issues or challenges that hinder participation. But let me tell you, as somebody who's been working in rural development, the picture, the scenario has undergone a drastic transition. Now people are much more aware, people are much more knowledgeable, they are much more empowered to, come forth, take part in the government programs, government interventions. They try and understand the process from the scratch. They try and work with the government officials, make sure that the policy designed is actually suiting their needs, and then these whole processes actually talk about participation as a in a real sense. So now people are becoming much more aware given the media, given the access to internet, though it may not be it's not uniform. India is a diverse country. We have a huge gap between haves and have-nots. So I'm not saying that this is equal all throughout the country. But then yes, we are evolving. People are getting more aware. People are getting more educated. Their capacities are built. We have various programs, skilling programs. You might have heard about the Deen Dayal Upadhyay DDUGKY program. So we have these kind of programs to skill the rural people, the marginalized people, handhold them for coming months, then make them understand the nuances of the enterprise in hand, and try and be more independent. So when once they are independent, they are able to talk about their priorities, they are able to make decisions, they are more stronger in their capacity. We are actually achieving a participatory development nation. So let us look at certain approaches when we are talking about participatory development. Genuine participatory development requires inclusion. Nobody should be left behind. We talked about certain marginalized sections. So maybe the SCs, ST, so maybe the SCs, STs, OBCs, the minorities, the differently able, the women, the destitute, certain categories that are labeled and put across as the marginalized or the vulnerable sections. We need to ensure that they are included in the whole policy perspective. Then there has to be a decentralized decision making. We should do away with the top down approach and propagate more and more about the bottom up approach, wherein people, the local people, can talk about their issues and take part in the planning process. Then we should focus on community ownership. The people should feel strengthened, they should own up the decisions, they should come together for the planning process, and then we can have a all comprehensive development process. And then there has to be accountability and transparency. So issues like social audit are there. So people can actually have social audits take place, talk about what all resources were allocated, how they were allocated, how they were used, and they maintain proper documentation about the accounts. Accountability can be strengthened through transparency. So in this section we talked about how participatory development can take place, and in the coming sections we will be talking about varieties of participation. Thank you so much.